when I would recommend sub-niching versus going after the broader market, I would start there, right? Like getting into the legal space, I didn't know what I didn't know. Again, like I learned through the process of having a lot of sales conversations. I learned through the process of marketing, which we're going to talk about. Like marketing is one of the best way to actually learn about your target audience and their business models. But I didn't really realize the difference between injury law, defense law, family law. I was like most people because I see the data. Most people search for a lawyer near me and they're just they don't know. They don't know. So in hyper competitive verticals like legal, like home services, the further down the sub niche you go, the better, right? So like starting with not only just like family law, but like within family, there's divorce, there's child custody, there's male versus female, right? There's every divorce creates two clients, right? So, you know, especially with like the marketing that we're going to talk about, there's ways that you can hyper target that marketing messaging, right? You can still work with law firms of all types, but like our ads, I have ads that are going out to family lawyers. I have ads that go out to car accident lawyers. I have ads that go out to business lawyers. I have hyper-specific videos that match to that messaging as well. And they produce leads much better and much cheaper for us, you know? Now, when it comes to the impact on our service, it's very minimal, right? And that's kind of the good thing about it too. So something we want to keep in mind is like the consistency and congruency of marketing and being able to fracture that into targeting different sub niches without changing your entire service. Now, granted, personal injury law is probably the most competitive local industry on the planet. It's brutal, right? So like there's a level of nuance that we have to do there. Like we don't like to do pay-per-click ads there because it's $100,000 a month to just even like get started there. So in that case, we do a lot of LSAs, we do a lot of local SEO, and we do some like very targeted content development and link building for them. Versus family law, we love pay-per-click ads because the cost per click is much more reasonable. And we're going to talk about this as we get into marketing too, but like the beautiful thing about sub-niching too is that like now I know when I really go through this process, right? Like a family lawyer, like I know who they're targeting now, right? Like we talk about who we're targeting, lawyers, right? But like when you really start to go through this process and you start to get really good at it, you know who they want to target and you understand the psychology of their client. What do I mean by that? If you've ever been through a divorce, I haven't fortunately yet, but if you've ever been through a divorce, it's extremely painful. It's extremely personal. It could take years, right? So like you might start by Googling like, I'm a business owner. My wife is threatening to leave me. Like, how can I protect my assets? 3 years before you're ready to call an attorney, right? So like that life cycle is very, very, very long, right? And there's all sorts of emotion involved. There's all sorts of pain involved. There's kids, there's business, it's a very difficult process for humans, right? Versus personal injury, they don't care about that. They're like, I slipped and fell in Publix, slip and fall lawyer near me, pick up the phone call. Hey, can I talk to a lawyer? Hey, I slipped and fell in Publix. How much money can I make? That's it. That's the entire life cycle of a personal injury case, right? They don't care about your brand. They don't care about your reputation. They care about, are you going to make me money and how quickly, right? So understanding that, right? Now when I put out marketing material, again, if you go to our YouTube channel, you look at this stuff, like I have video that talks about the family law, like acquisition process, the quality of leads that has brought into me. They come to me and they're like, that's it. You get us. Like we want to work with you, right? So sub-niching is really good for marketing. It can also be, again, very good for your service because then you can start to tailor that. You know, if you want to work with lawyers, like you got to get them results. They don't play that shit. Like they're like, lawyers are tough. If you don't make their phone ring, like you're going to hear from them in a very, very aggressive way, you know? So being able to tailor our service so I know now what levers to pull with those types of clients is night and day, you know? So the further down the sub niche that you go, the better. And if you apply that to something like e-commerce too, right? Like it's not just like, oh, okay, within home services, there's HVAC and there's, you know, sub niches within that. Within e-commerce, there's platforms, right? So like there's Shopify, there's Demandware. Each of those inherently is tied to a different type of customer, right? Shopify is probably a little more beginner. Shopify Plus inherently says that you're getting enough traffic where you're paying a certain amount for the platform. So yeah, question, sub niche, the further down you go, especially the smaller that you are, I would say the further down the sub niche rabbit hole that you go, the better. Hey, Ryan here. Hope you liked that video. If you want more, check out these two videos right here on this screen.